Welcome back, y'all. We got a crow call. A while since we had a crow call, and I heard two crows cried. So get in here, get in here, get in here. Let's see what is going on for you guys. For your messages. Go ahead and miss the space. And let's get started. All right. We're going to first get some ancestor messages, and then we'll dive into why the crows are calling. All right. Okay, crowlies. I hope everybody's doing good. All right, they said something about close friends. All right. Let's see what's going on. Oh, it's a lot. Okay. What do they need to know at this time? Let's jump right into the messages. What do they need to know at this time? I just saw angel number 111. All right. Energetic healing. Heal your energy. Keep working on your healing journey. You will be forced to release energy that no longer serves you. Okay. So keep doing the energy work. Someone may need to book a Reiki healing session. All right. Or someone should start working on Reiki healing. All right. If you're already doing this, that means that you're in the frequency of either starting it or you've already started. And so that means that you need to continue. Okay. Expect tears of release. So releasing emotionally, but also psychically. So there's some sort of release that's taking place in your heart chakra and your third eye. Okay. Angel number 222. All right. You need to stay balanced. All right. You need to do things in moderation. Don't overexert your energy. Yeah, I'm saying like someone has been either praying a lot or working on mantras, reprogramming their mind. Whatever you have requested through a manifestation, through a prayer, through speaking to your ancestors or communing with the Most High, this request is actually going to be delivered to you, but you must be patient, okay? All right. I'm also seeing like this energy of anything active, anything spiritually, manifestation wise, energetically, anything that could be against you is actually being deactivated at this time, okay? So something is being deactivated. So even if like for those of you that you felt like somebody was doing something behind the scenes, or you felt like someone was tampering with your energy, whether that be consciously or subconsciously, I feel like that's being deactivated, okay? That is being deactivated. So now you don't have to worry about like, again, and this has been like a thing in the community for some reason, in the spiritual community. I'm seeing a lot of like people worried about people casting spells and people putting people in jars and hexes and jinxes. I'm seeing a very like frequent pattern in regards to that. So you may need to make sure that you become more frequent in your protection and your cleansing rituals, okay? Whatever that may be for you and your lifestyle. All right, yeah, I told you, like they're cleaning house, they're cleaning space. There's no entry. Someone is not supposed to have access to you. There's certain people that are not supposed to have access to you, and they talk about close friends, okay? So there's certain people that are not even supposed to be close friends with you, all right? And they're not allowed to be in your energy. So that also means that you shouldn't enter their energy either, right? I'm also hearing like, make sure that you actually follow through with what your ancestors are saying or what your spirit guides are saying to you, because it's been a really long time since I've had a crow call. Now, I've been doing the collective readings and stuff like that almost like every week, with an exception of I think this past week, excuse me, with an exception of this past week, right? However, we haven't had a crow call in a while, almost like 3, 4 weeks, since the last crow call within itself. And for those of you that are new to the channel, crow call just means that a crow flew by, or a few crows flew by, and they started calling, and the crow spirit, the crow animal spirit, the crow animal totem is delivering a spiritual message, to us, to the Crowley channel. And so that being said, it's been a while since we've had any sound, any communication from the crow spirit in the crow realm. And so even though I have seen sightings of the crows, everything has been kind of quiet. So introspection is needed, really sitting there and trying to figure out like what your next move is in silence. And so moving in silence, just because people can see you doesn't mean that they need to hear you. There's something about like actions speak louder than words. Okay. So yeah, someone is energetically, spiritually, physically, contractually banned from your energy, not allowed to enter. So you shouldn't enter a certain space or conversation, and this is a warning sign. But you don't have to worry about like any like weird energy being thrown your direction either. Is another thing that I'm seeing here. Okay, they're reiterating spiritual health maintenance for you, taking care of your spiritual health, whether that be, you know, whatever spiritual tradition you have. Okay, and for right now, I'm just going to generalize it because, you know, I am talking to a lot of you, right? And so you need to kind of identify what psychic attacks look like for you. And sometimes that could be a trigger word for somebody, okay? Psychic attack or spiritual warfare, right? Another way for me to simplify that, or for us to rephrase that, would be to call it energetic misalignment, okay? When a person is energetically misaligned, that means that, you know, maybe one of their chakras is off, right? And depending on that particular chakra, because it's not working correctly, or because it's blocked, it can create blockages in your physical body. It can create blockages energetically, emotionally, and psychologically. And so this can also affect you if other people are not in alignment spiritually and they're around you, especially if you're someone that is energetically sensitive. What does it mean to be energetically sensitive? Well, it means that you can absorb energy very easily without wanting to absorb energy. You're someone that can also project energy and transmute energy, but without the proper knowledge or training. So again, if this means that you've already created a ritual, all right, and again, rituals are just daily, weekly, monthly, yearly routines, okay? Because again, that can also be trigger words for certain people, right? And depending on your belief system, right? So I'm here to help you live your best life, and to trust your intuition, and to enhance your intuition, and to basically make that little voice and that gut sensation louder for you. Okay, that being said, I'm just here for confirmation purposes. I'm not here to play on propaganda. Okay. That being said, you have already been trying to reprogram your mind, to grow spiritually. And so, what would help you now? Sound therapy, singing bowls, bells, chimes, guided meditations, going with an instructor, like a yoga instructor or a meditation instructor, a spiritual coach, a life coach, incorporating that possibly with some sort of therapy, whether that be therapy for the body, so like massage therapy, physical therapy, of course, mental therapy, right? Making sure mental health is important as well, right? And when I talk about mental health, I'm not talking about mental illness. I'm talking about restoring your mental health back into a healthy state, right? And so if you've undergone any type of mental, psychological manipulation, emotional manipulation, some sort of trauma, anything of that nature, you need to reprogram your mind. And so that means that you have to basically process whatever you have experienced. And doing that with a professional is going to enhance your healing journey, right? Not just only working it energetically, but also working it physically, emotionally, and psychologically, not just from a spiritual and energetic perspective, okay? For those of you that you are someone that you have to feel like you got to do something to release something. And so, like, I often tell my clients, you can do the dollar store cheap plate, like breaking the plates, right? So you buy like maybe like 5 plates or something like that. You write whatever you're going to write on the plate. It could be a person's name, it could be a situation, it could be whatever it is that's bothering you, that hurts you, right? And you could either grab the plate and just smashing it into a dumpster, right? And that is a form of release. And some of you might actually need to go to a crash out room, right? And you have to like book a whole session where you start breaking stuff and smashing stuff. And then what eventually happens is that you had this emotional release and you just start crying. Right? And so, whatever it is for you, that works for you. I've also seen like through social media, like people get these like really intense massages and then they go through like these emotional releases. And it's usually like around their thighs, where a lot of emotional trauma, or hips. There's a form of yoga also. If you guys know what type of yoga it is or what type of massage I'm talking about, comment it down below so that way you can help the next person figure out what other things to try or whatever you're trying. Go ahead and comment down below. I would love to hear about it, okay? But these are the type of things that will help you to release the emotional and whatever trauma is actually sitting in your nervous system still that is limiting you from experiencing new relationships and new connections and new communities even, right? And so they're talking about some sort of trauma bond and how sometimes that can come in the form of psychic attack or energetic attack, and that can also come in the form of close friends and things of that nature. And so you want to make sure that you are careful with, that forbidden energy. There's certain people that you're not supposed to have around you. And sometimes it's not the type of person, but the type of things that they do that is not in alignment with you anymore, right? With who you're trying to become or who you are right now in the present moment, because who you were in the past may have been in alignment with those types of people and those type of close friendships. But now you are basically creating the new version of yourself, okay? So actions speak louder than words. Wow, very deep. And pay attention, like who does like this fear mongering thing, who tries to scare you out of things, or who tries to scare you into things, because that is almost like taking your free will and your power away. And you want to make sure that like when you believe something, it's because you felt that way before anyone said anything to you, right? And you got to go back to the first initial sense that you had, and that was your intuition, right? Okay. Because I'm seeing some sort of cyclical patterns that you are trying to reprogram, and these are the things that are hindering it, okay? So yeah, Reiki attunement and alignment, open your chakras, unblock them, okay? Again, so it may be time for a chakra realignment. It may be time for an energetic scan. Maybe it's time for you to emotionally check in with yourself. Okay, so because I was getting that type of energy, we have prosperity or a good business spell. Okay, so money's coming in. That is also a good omen, but I'm gonna put that to the side. Let's see what's going on here with your energy, because we did get Reiki attunements and Reiki healing and energetic healing. Okay, so let's talk about like that trauma bond thing. What's going on with the trauma bond? Like, highlight that for me. And this is the chakra oracle deck. You guys were wondering. All right, tell me. Despondence. So immediately, this affects your intuition. This affects your intuition. It affects your throat chakra. Okay. It's like you're so used to being caught in the middle of a whirlwind of chaos, of sabotaging, of, and this doesn't even have to be you on a personal level, but you're so used to being either the glue, that's trauma, or the fixer, that's trauma, or the person that always gets caught in the middle between two people, that's trauma. Okay. And it's like you're always like what's it called, the problem solver, right? And sometimes it's better for you to silently solve your own problems rather than to talk about your problems to people that are not wanting to get things done the way you want it to get done. So there's also something in regards to like, you have to know who to invite to certain places, and who you don't want to bring to certain places, right? And so if you do not want to be the old version of you, then don't bring the old version to you, like of you, to certain relationships. Okay. How else can I describe that? If you have some sort of trauma, let's go with the trauma bond, all right, of the reward and punishment. Okay. The reward and punishment is usually first stems from your parents, all right, or any parental figure in your life. If you don't do this, then you won't get this. If you do this, then you will get this, right? And so that can apply to gift giving, that can apply to money, that can apply to love and affection, that can apply to sex sometimes, all right? It just really depends on, how it applies for you, right? Let it sit with you where it fits. And where it fits, this is where we want to analyze. All right. This is where we whip out our journals. This is where we have a real serious conversation with ourselves, where no one's present, where it's only you. And you're not going to judge yourself at this time. You're going to sit here and say, okay, where am I placing myself that I know it's chaotic? Where am I placing myself in relationships and environments on in social communities, whether that be on the internet, whether that be in a particular neighborhood or in a particular job setting, in a particular mindset or belief system? Where am I placing myself that creates these trauma bond triggers, these psychic attacks that end up attacking your throat chakra? Then you do not end up, walking in your truth. Then you start lying to yourself. Then you have this imposter syndrome, right? Where, you're not listening to your intuition, or your intuition is now boggled down by other people's energies and other people's problems, right? Where you can't speak up for yourself, or you feel like you won't be heard even if you do say something, where you have to raise your voice because no one's listening to you, or you have to complain more than actually getting, understood, right? Or being met, in the middle. This is the energy that I'm seeing, because it's causing this like chaotic energy in your base chakras. So I'm seeing this in your solar plexus, in your sacral. And sometimes it can even, this is where the anger stems from, right? Or resentment stems from, right? Because then you start feeling like, I have to do what these people are saying, or I have to do these types of things to belong in these like in these places or these relationships, and under these circumstances. And then you end up punishing yourself for not doing the things that you're supposed to be able to fit in that particular type of narrative, right? And so this is something that is actually living within you in your nervous system that you have to purge and release. Okay. And so if you're starting to see like physically people leaving your energy, people starting to be quieter, or you trying to like kind of pull back your energy and you become more quieter, this is actually the identification of, who was trying to trick you, who was trying to fool you, right? Um, when initially you already felt that intuitively, but you couldn't hear it loudly or clearly because all the energy was, very chaotic. And just saw angel number 2121, which is 33. All right. So there is two different things that are actually aligning for you, two different relationships. And this is going to help you. It's not just going to help you emotionally, it's also going to help you in terms of this trauma healing. Okay. So unblocking your chakras, making sure everything is good in regards to your energy. All right. Cleansing your energy, continue to heal. All right. Healing also means that you have to change the way you treat yourself. All right. Anything else here? What about the chakras? Okay. We have grief and we have self-worth. So again, with the heart chakra, I talked about the heart chakra, and that's what you are carrying with you right now. You are fighting yourself in regards to your self-worth, what you deserve, what you're deserving of. You're deserving of happiness and not chaos. You're deserving of peace and tranquility and not upheaval and disaster and drama and, BS, basically. You get what I'm saying? So like, it's driving you crazy. Like, especially if you guys have a particular psychic gifts. Again, if you're energetically sensitive and you have gifts, then they can also alter your gifts and what you listen to. You then start listening to lower frequencies instead of higher frequencies. You then start listening to people that are manipulating you for their own narrative versus, what is actually going to benefit you, right? And so I want to put you in this seat right here, in which you're kind of looking at like, that looks very comfortable. I don't know who that belongs to. This is your seat. Okay. So this also gives me this energy of like, maybe for some time you've lost a lot of things that were close to you, a lot of people that were close to you. And so you feel a disconnect to friendships, to family, to community, even to yourself. And so it's time to kind of reconnect yourself. Okay. Um, Dissipating is here. So your energy, this is your vitality, this is your solar plexus. It is dissipating. It is like slowly decreasing. It is slowly like withering away. And this is because all of this energy, has to be trimmed away, has to be cut away. You need a better energetic protection bubble. You also need to know when it's time to pull back from certain energies and when to not go near it at all, right? And so there's a lot of plants here. And so plant healing, detoxing, and things of that nature can also help for you guys, okay? And that's just like a real quick little energy spread for y'all because, and then we have complacency, and that is your root chakra. So it's keeping you stuck in certain relationships, connections, communities, places that you really don't want to be in, and that's why, okay? All right. Clarify the no entry or access to you for a reason. Clarify that warning sign. There we go. Clarify that warning sign, please, for us. Thank you. Your spirit guide. It came from your spirit guide, period. That's it. This is the assistance that they're bringing to you. If they ban or they restrict certain things, it's for a reason. If it's not allowed, it's for a reason. This is divine guidance. These are signs and synchronicities that your guardians are protecting you. If they're saying, hey, in this path, you're going to have to walk alone for a little bit until you reprogram who is allowed to be a close friend. Okay. What type of rooms are you supposed to walk into? What type of buildings you're supposed to walk into? Yeah. Okay. We have union here. Yeah. They're not playing around because they want you to connect with the right people. So they're literally steering you in a different direction. So that way, they're separating you from these trauma bonds and from whoever is either unintentionally or intentionally, subconsciously or consciously sending you these energetic, nasty vibes. And so they're detaching you from certain people, certain places, certain environments, and they're placing certain techniques. And so like pay attention to the synchronicities, right? Synchronicities. Oh, I'm thinking about getting back into journaling. And then you see a whole bunch of journals, and you see a whole bunch of people just writing in a book, or you see a whole bunch of people like painting and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever that thing that is that you've been thinking about, and then boom, it's right in front of you, which is a little bit different from marketing. Don't get it confused with marketing. Marketing is like, okay, at some point in time, you searched a particular product, and I don't care where the heck you searched it on, but you searched it on your device, whether it be a laptop, a tablet, or phone, and then it just starts popping up and popping up, popping up. I'm not talking about that. That's marketing, okay? I'm talking about you say something in your head. You had a conversation with you personally, not aloud, because sometimes devices hear you. You have a conversation personally, or take it to the altar, you pray, whatever, which means that you're doing it in silence, in your mind, inside of you, right? So it's in your vessel. Only your vessel and your spirit know, of course, and your spiritual team know what you were talking about. And when you then see physical signs, synchronicities, lining up with those same thoughts and those same conversations, that is a sign. That is a synchronicity. 2727, which equates to 99. Completing certain things. All right, you know what? I think it's time. I'm going to decide to make sure that I do that thing that is spiritually inclined, that will spiritually assist for me, and I'm going to finish that up. I'm going to go ahead and complete whatever those tasks that I said I was going to do. Let me go ahead and finish that. That is what I'm talking about. And these are the decisions that they are like helping you. They're guiding you through. Integrating what you've learned within your own feminine energy. Learning when to kind of fall back and recline and just chill, and learning when to like, okay, it's time to get going. Let's get some stuff done, right? We have the world. So this is a brand new cycle that's actually happening for you guys. So the ones that don't have access to you, no entry, they're banned, they're not allowed. This is a karmic completion. That's it. It's a disconnect. It's a complete disconnect. Whether they like it or not. Okay. So I am seeing that. And then this is the balance of the scales. This is karma. All right, you guys, I have to get out of here. I'm going to go ahead and most likely I'll go live again for you guys in Corley's channel on Friday. So I'll see you guys then. Peace.